Hello and welcome to The Wireless. My name is Lwamkelo Tshikini, and today we are talking all things Fable, which is a global platform where stories and strategy comes together, as well as visions become reality. And I'm super excited today to have a quick chat with Robert Bexell, who is the secondary founder of FableReads. And Robert, welcome. And how are you today?
Very much. I'm doing great. Looking forward to talking about one of my absolutely favorite topics.
Ooh, this is going to run really quite smooth. I want us to actually get into it in terms of what is your role and how did you actually get involved with FableReads?
Okay, so my role is taking care of things in the background. What's really interesting is, of course, the stories and the UX or the interface, and I'm trying to support the team to make that happen. So Anders, the founder, and I, we know each other since a very long time and have been bouncing off all sorts of ideas in life and business. And I think when his kids were smaller, maybe 7, 8 years ago, he was a little bit frustrated about the material that you're reading to your kids when they go to bed. He's like, it doesn't. I don't want to. I don't want to say anything bad about other things, but let's just say that it's a difference if you reach a philosopher or Paw Patrol. And he was like, I want my daughters to think, to reflect on things that are important. And I just think it would be nice if we could help parents with good stories and also sort of give them the questions that you could ask when you're tired after a long day and you still want to interact with your kids. And he said, I found something, and it's fables. And I said, Anders, this is a beautiful idea. It sounds amazing. I hate to be the boring guy, but it's going to cost a fortune to set this up. And I have no idea how we're going to be able to finance it. And then a couple of years later, when the LLMs became available, he saw, well, now I can do it, and I want to learn. So I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to roll with it with my team. And about a year and a half ago, I rolled off as a CEO of a company in a completely different industry up in Sweden. And I said, it's about time that I change my focus more to investing in family and maybe give something back to society. And I love working with Anders. And my kids are small; they're 4 and 6 now. So it came pretty natural to me.
Oh man. You also mentioned now that was an idea, but now there needed to be also a business side of it. Can you walk us through in terms of what was your vision when you're looking at it in a business perspective?
Yeah. So there's two aspects to this. There's a business side, but the more important is the social impact side. So as an investor in a lot of startups, maybe this is not going to be the unicorn. And that's quite all right. Because when I explain this to potential sponsors and investors, I tell them this might not be the best IRR that you've ever seen or financial return. But the return on society, we believe, is maybe more important than this one. That's how we built it. So if you can get kids out there not to use social media platforms and to stop, reflect, and think, then we're all winners. So we have to have a UX that's attractive enough to compete with TikTok. My kids are not on social media yet, but 10-year-olds usually are, right? So the competition is really the interest of kids to engage on other platforms. And if we can get them to read more, research is clear that develops the brains, especially of young people. If you can read more or even be read to more, helps brain development. And if you can also make sure that then those stories contain wisdom from generations, and it's not giving you answers, it's more opening up for discussions or reflections. Why did the mouse react like that? Why did the lion behave like that? How does the donkey feel when they said that? And since it's third party in this sense, it's an animal and not a person, and it's not what do you feel, Lux? What do I feel, Robert? It becomes less dangerous to discuss difficult topics. So maybe back to your question.
Yeah.
Sorry. What was it? How do we from a business side make this large? What are we trying to achieve? Was that sort of the The question?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's they go hand in hand. So impact-wise, you want as many people as possible to get access to these stories. It's a worldwide treasure. It doesn't belong to anyone. There's no copyright on these stories. Um, and not everyone has the digital access, and not everyone can pay for books. But everyone can everyone can use our website, you know, if they have access. We'll get back to that, I think. And the more people that reflect on values, especially in today's society, the better the social impact and the better the long term. So all winners. On the business side, you also need to get as big a possible a follower. So a year ago, we had about 1,000 visitors to the page. Now it's 20,000 a month, and a lot of returning visitors. If you keep growing like this, you can do your exponential calculations. That's amazing. But even if we stick to say 20,000 a month for this year, so that's a quarter of a million visitors in a year. And what's interesting is that people stay on the site. They read about 1.5 fables when they're on there on average. Um, and then maybe they don't read it alone either. That is, what do we have then? Like over 400,000 times a fable is read online about values. And I'm sure it ignites some sort of thought about what's important in life. Who am I? What do I feel? And already there, I think we've achieved our goal.
Yeah.
But now to finance it, so today it's Anders and I that finance it. And some are working for free and some are getting paid. That depends what life situation you have, right? And that's partly what we're doing here. We're trying to get more people to support with the finance things so that we can get it out there. And when we reach the critical size, I think we will be able to make money out of book sales for the more affluent. And the app that's coming, we will surely have a premium version of the app, so that, I mean, people like I, fortunate enough to have an education and you know, a house to live in. I don't mind paying a couple of dollars to get good stories to my kids, but not everyone can do that. So we will always keep the free website and see what we can keep free for the ones who maybe need it more, and the ones of us who can pay.
Well, it's really quite interesting the points that you made in terms of also these values for fables. You get to take it out and communicate it with, you know, the investors. There's also families that are also involved, as well as the community. My question to you is, when it comes to storytelling as well, what role does it play when it comes to building a brand like FableReads?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I am not a marketeer by profession, but I believe in building sort of ecosystems where all stakeholders have a say and have some sort of a gain. And this type of idea needs to be a social movement. So it's Anders' idea, and he started developing it with his daughters and then with his team in the Philippines. But we're letting it go, right? It's a movement, and it's lovely what we see in South Africa, how Wireless SA and others really want to contribute. And we've had editors and translators in different countries who say, you know, I love this. Let me check the stories so that the language is really professional, and I'll do it for free because I like it. And that's what needs to happen. And we have teachers using this all over the world in their education, and that's, you know, that's how it should be. Schools in Sweden and the Philippines and in Germany and in South Africa are using it for their pupils. And you can also use it actually in grown up, because I love philosophy, and some of these stories are so easy to understand, but you can then have an in-depth philosophical discussion.
Now, you also mentioned before that this is basically a free platform that anyone can be able to access, and at the same time, it actually free when it comes to advertisement, which is something that is very rare when it comes to, you know, the social space or the digital space. Why is this so important, and how you guys are actually planning to keep it that way, that it's, you know, very much of engaging?
Yeah. So there's a separate discussion on how much should you let your kids be online. I'll leave that to those who know it better. But if they are online, you would preferably want them to be on a site where they can browse on their own. And you don't want that site to be just an aggregator or actually like a marketing site to lead them onto something else, which I think, no offense, Instagram and YouTube and Facebook are all about, right? It's all about leading them into something else. So we really wanted to avoid that and have it as a safe place for kids to play around. Uh, so I don't mind if there's a sponsor when it's clearly saying this insurance company supports FableReads. That's not, that's not looking at the kids. That is only like a CSR for the parents. That's okay, but there should never be anything, buy this toy or go watch this movie or play this game or anything that's really interesting to kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then it's a safe space, and you shouldn't be able to click a link and get somewhere. That's really bad from a business perspective,
No,
but I think over time we'll make it work.
definitely it seems like it's already working on our side, since it's already like a global platform that everyone can be able to access. So just a quick one. I mean, you are also a father, right? What when you actually get into making these decisions, do the kids also get to be involved, or how is that process with when you guys make these big decisions in terms of what would actually go into the platform and even more?
So I think that may be a question for Anders because his kids are a little bit older and they have been involved from the start. My kids are 4 and 6, so of course when we try the stories on our own kids, but that's and you see how because there's exercises online and also in the book, and is it attractive? Which age group does it seem to work? But my Sebastian being 6, he's not giving me a structured feedback on how we should do it, but I can tell it's good enough for me.
No, that is literally lovely. I'm getting all the information behind it. Just a quick one. You mentioned something about having an app. What is actually next for what you call for FableReads? What are the things that you guys are looking into to tapping into spaces in terms of everyone can be involved, especially young minds as well?
There's a plethora of opportunities. What we decided about a year ago, then it was only in English, was that, okay, let's make this a global movement. So let's just prove that we can cost efficiently translate this into enough languages so that more than half the world's population has it as a first or second language.
Yeah.
And now it's 11 languages. When Isikosa comes, then it will be 12, and the first African, which is beautiful. So that was the first step. And then you can think, and audio is also making it more available. You can also think about, should we use more images? Should we promote it through video platforms, trying to get people away from video platforms to our reading platform? Should we involve any sort of gamification? Think Duolingo style. And all of these ideas, of course, are coming into the app, and it's a fine line, right? Because we don't want it to be a video game, and we don't want it to be video. We want it to be slow, slow media, so that you reflect.
Yeah.
But I think for me as a parent, and that's going to come in the app, it's quite nice to have something. If you're familiar with Spotify, you have your own playlist. You can download it, and you can say, okay, so we've had this big discussion. Let's say my daughter feels a bit insecure about herself, and I'm just going to download 5 fables on authenticity, and then see how she reacts, and maybe I can, get the discussion going without being blunt. And And it's also in the time, let's say you really need to work, and instead of giving them YouTube on the iPad, you give them 10 FableReads stories. It's a lot better.
That is very, very much more interesting. Now, I just want to find out, just before we get to wrap up the interview, in terms of for someone who's actually watching this video as of now or listening to you as of now, what would you say to them if they have a kid, if it's also a kid in terms of this platform? This is so global and very, very important, especially to young minds.
Oh, well, just please try it out and let us know what you think.
Oh, oh, it is exactly as it is. Is there any last words you want to say on your end?
If you try it out and you love it, maybe consider donating a rand or two. That would help us to continue to develop this.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robert, for just giving us the insight behind the process, as behind what you call FableReads. I'm super excited for the people to actually see, because now it's clear that this platform is not just built for stories, but it's actually built to push the narrative of young minds getting involved. I think it's a really quite a great platform. Thank you so much for your time.